Hello. If you were to ask me what song am I crazy about right now, I'd defos tell you it's this one. But I have to sing it for you. The people have spoken. They have requested me to sing because they say, sis, you is a voicist after all. So I've got to heed to their request. So here goes. It goes like this. It's by Seasons Collection Worship. Go hear them out. Woo! I did mention I'm a bit shy, right? Okay, so the song goes.
The song is called Speak to the Mountain. It goes a little bit like this.
Oh, great mountain, move out of my way, move out of my way. Oh, oh, great mountain, move out of my way, move out of my way. Mountain of depression, move. Oh, great mountain, move out of my way, move out of my way. Mountain of anxiety, oh, great mountain, move out of my way, move out of my way. Oh,
Hallelujah! Let's get this on the road started.
Yeah, lift it up, come on. Oh, great.
Welcome to my channel. I am Zandile, Zandilandi, Zandable, Zantisa. Beke Maulana YouTube, which you call me. Welcome back to my channel if you've already been here before. And if you are new, I welcome you, a special welcome to you. Alright, so yeah, it's a girl, Zandi, coming straight from the 012 capital city, Pretoria, capital city of South Africa. Hello world, hello world. I hope you invited somebody today to watch with you because it's about to get lit. Okay, get your coffee, get your tea, sis, bro. Like, I'm telling you, don't say I didn't warn you. So as you can see from today's title, right?
Oh,
as
a breezy
Mr. would say,
The unique
right?
Mr. Universe. Yeah.
The title says, you don't hate it enough. You simply don't. You simply don't. And the truth has to be told, all right? I know hate is a strong word and it's not a nice word to use, but I think we gotta use it sometime. I always pray a prayer and I say, God, may I love what you love, may I hate what you hate. There are actually, the God who's so loving, there are things that he hates. There are things that he cannot stand simply because he is holy. All right, so once you understand holiness, right, you understand why God can't stand some things. It's not because he's terrible. It's not because he's being a monster, trying to be a dictator, or trying to be somehow. Once his holiness comes into contact with sin, you know, it's just a disaster. So we have to put this word into play. I mean, it's in the dictionary for a reason, right? So, you know, in my varsity life, I've come to learn a lot. And one of the things I've come to, get over, it is definitely excuses, you know, you give a lot of excuses as a student. You just go through a lot, you know, you're going through changes. Just the other day, you were asking to go to the bathroom, you know, asking for permission to go to the bathroom. Now you've got to like make a choice about your entire future, you know, and you're not always sure, and there's just so much going on, and things are just not the same. Like, the way things work are just not the same, and so you have to get used to a new life, a new way of living. And so one day I came to this epiphany, you know, like a light bulb just went on in my mind, you know, as I kept on hearing excuses, as I kept on giving excuses. And one day it was just like, you don't hate it enough. You don't hate the results enough. You don't hate what it does to you. You don't hate the time you waste enough. You don't hate your average self enough to actually do what you have to do, right? So today's little chat is about, do you really want it? All right, do you really want it? Right, I understand that love is a powerful force, hate is also a powerful force, right? And so when you think of, let's say for example, an addiction, right, something you habitually struggle with and now you've gotten into a bind, it's a thing of, like, no one likes being an addiction, right? I was reading this book called The Power of Habit, and as well with it, I was reading Irresistible by Adam Adler. So they were talking about, psychology and how the brain works when it comes to habits. Actually, I don't know which book is which because I've gone through so many psych books that, if they say similar things and they intertwine and so forth. So don't quote me, okay? So on which one I got this from, as in the source. But nonetheless, what it said is that no one likes being an addict. The fact that you know that you are being controlled by something and that you cannot resist the urge, or rather you can resist the urge, you just choose not to because the desire is just so much, or just the habit is just so established that it kind of happens automatically for you to give in. And so in your brain, it's just a thing of, I'd rather just give in to the easier decision than for me to actually fight the harder one. So that's addiction. That's how addiction works. If you ask anyone who's an addict to anything, and I'm not even just talking about drugs, I'm not talking just about, smoking and stuff. Like, there are other addictions, you know what I mean? So, addictions to gaming, addictions to social media, addictions, to people's attention. There's just a whole, varying wide variety of addictions. But if you ask them, hey, do you like being addicted? Obviously they'll say no. It's the same as how people just don't want to be associated with anything bad. Like, people don't like being called a liar, they don't like being called a manipulator, even though they actually might be what you're calling them. They don't like it, and they the first thing they do is that they defend themselves. They come back at you and they're like, me a liar, me a whoa. You know what I mean? So no one ever likes being associated with bad things, right? And so it's the same with addiction. No one likes it, even though they keep going back to it. It's not a thing of, it's not something they actually like. It's like you're a magnet, and somebody and then somebody comes with steel. You know what I mean? So the energy it takes to pull away from that is just immense, and so therefore that's when you have to start carving a neural pathway that is establishing a new habit, and you have to decide against your old habits until you reach a point where this new neural pathway is like you've walked on it enough times that you don't now desire to go back to your old ways. So how did I get to addictions? I got here because I want to attack this matter. I want to challenge you on this matter of, you know what you are struggling with, what you're not letting go of. And so I want you to look at it from a different perspective, because a lot of times when you are struggling to let go of something, like you beat yourself up, and you're like, yo, I'm bad, like, I'm useless or whatever. I don't know how you talk to yourself, but I hope you talk to yourself good, but I'm just saying, like, at your lowest point where it's like you really tired of living a certain life. Let's say for example, like, you always overeat, or you always overspend, or you're always late, stuff like that, where it's like, I really don't want to. I don't get up in the morning and say I want to be late. I don't get up in the morning saying I want to overspend. I don't want to, it's like you don't wake up wanting to do bad. But somehow because you have built a habit around a certain behaviorism or behavioral pattern, then you end up doing that, and it makes you guilty, like causes you to be guilty, causes you to be shameful, and at the end of the day, you kind of say to yourself, I did it before, I failed before, let me just add to the list of failures. So I want you to look at it from a different perspective. I want you to work on hating it. you know. I know I didn't leave certain behaviors, I didn't leave certain characteristics or character traits until I actually started hating it, because I started to see it for what it truly is, you know. When you're struggling with something, when you have a vice, you are more likely to make an excuse for it, to cover yourself in terms of it. You are more likely to become also an activist. You're more likely to become an activist because you kind of try justify yourself. You're just like, oh no, but I'm stressed. No, but like I have so much to do. Oh, I have a child, or I have this, or I have that. Oh, I'm like trying to hold down 3 jobs. You know what I mean? Like you just justify just to help like yourself process through your failure, to say, oh goodness, I can't believe I did it again. You know what I mean? So you become a person who actually lies to yourself, because that's what it is. When you justify yourself that in a way that's not justifiable, you're then lying to yourself, because you're telling yourself something that is not true. And so you need to learn to hate. You need to learn to hate certain behaviors. Like, for example, so I was always a person who was on time, right? And then somehow I started learning a nasty behavior of not being on time. And I hate it, and I began hating it. Like, I began hating it so much. Like, already I hated it. Like, I hated it when people
got late or arrived late to
something that I was perhaps involved in or whatever. And I'm like, but like, are you okay with this? You surely can't be okay with being late. So I picked up this nasty habit now of just not being on time. And I would obviously have an excuse. And then, you know what, I thought back to my leadership days, and I'm like, you know what, there's never a good enough excuse. If you're on time, you're late, and if you're early, you're on time, you know. And so I just had to suck it up until one morning, it's like I snoozed the alarm, and then God convicted me later on in the bus. He's like, you know you're prideful. I'm like, me? What do you mean? He's like, you're prideful because you think, Oguti, like the time you're wasting is you're gonna get that time back. And I'm like, yo. So he's like, so every time you're late, you're basically being prideful, because you are then disrespecting, you know, the person's time that you have to honor, that you didn't honor rather. And also you just think that you have all the time in the world to do whatever you want to do. Like you need to change that, you know. You need to change that, because you will miss things that will never really come back a second time round, because when you were late, you know. So then from that day I started looking at being late very differently, you know,
and procrastinating very differently,
because I'm like, yo, I actually hate it now, because I don't want to be prideful. I don't want to be proud. And so I hate being proud. And I hate, you know, the Bible says God resists the proud. I ain't trying to be resisted by God. Okay? Imagine you're doing everything you should be doing, but because you're proud, everything flops, you know, because you're being resisted by God. I ain't trying to do that, okay? I'm not trying to test God like that. So I began to hate it. And so even with you know, growing up, my dad would be so strict, and he would be on my back for a lot of stuff. And then only when I went to varsity, I started seeing, okay, no, maybe he had like sense in what he was saying. And I started hating certain things, and that's why I can't stand them, you know. And that's how I found my way to discipline, certain disciplines, like various disciplines in my life, to say, I'll definitely not wear, you know, my clothes, like my shirts twice. Like I just not wear dirty clothes. Like, even if I found that, you know what, I wake up and I'm supposed to dress, and I'm like, yo, snap, I realize all of a sudden I have no clothes. You know what I'll do, ne? Let me tell you what I'll do, because me, I'm a kind of a germaphobe, cleanophobe, right? I would genuinely wash the clothes and hair dry them. I'd hair dry them and wear them whilst they're still a little bit wet, they'll dry in the way. But there's just some things I can't do because I just hate it so much. I detest it. You know, it's not even like ogaragai cancer, or like I think I'm too important for certain things. I've just come to see the dark side, and I've come to hate the dark side of things. And so I therefore changed, you know. So yeah, so today I guess I was giving you tips on how to change bad habits that you have, and to tell you that if you're not changing, all right, if you're not yet changing, you basically aren't tired. You're basically not, you don't hate it enough. Okay, like you're still comfortable. Basically, okay, you're still comfortable, so stay comfortable in your bad habits. But the day you become tired, the day you hate it more than you love it, right? The day you love God more, right, more than you love a certain thing, that'll be the day for your change, right? That'll be the day for your change. You'll never see change unless you change your mind. You'll never see change unless you decide. So the power is in your hands. The ball is in your court. I have spoken, I have given my experience, and I have testified. So what are you gonna do about it? Because you have the tools now, okay? You have the tools now. So I'll end it off with this. Don't ever have someone else more desperate for your breakthrough than yourself. Don't have someone else run after you for you to get help, because at the end of the day, it's your life. And if you're on the other end, you're running after people so that they can be helped, I'd like to advise you to stop, because until they are desperate enough for their breakthrough, your efforts will be futile. Of course, seeds are good, and seeds will bring about a harvest. But sometimes if you plant on hard ground, hey man, there's no harvest there, you know. There's gens, no harvest. So be wise, save your time, save your energy with such people. People are not projects. You can't change people. You can only inspire change. You can only influence people, but you definitely can't make the decision on their behalf. I read something the other day. It said you can't do something for someone and think that they'll appreciate it if already they didn't appreciate it. Like, you doing it won't change the fact that they hadn't you doing it for them won't change the fact that they were already ungrateful for it. They were already not seeing the beauty in it already, you know. So you can be the best person to people, but if already in themselves and like by themselves they have not decided to see something as a treasure, then you can go high and low, far and wide, you just will not succeed. So save your energy. But yeah, that's my chat for today. Learn to hate things that do not serve you. I said things, not people, okay? Learn to hate behavior mechanisms, habits that do not serve your purpose, that do not lead you closer to God, and you'll definitely start to see the change. And ask God also. Pray about everything and all things. Never cease to pray. Pray about it and ask God, help me hate it as much as you hate it. Whatever it is, show me what I need to hate in my life so I can overcome, so I can change. All right? Glory, hallelujah. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, do share this with someone you know, someone you don't know, people, you know. Just share it around so that people can hear something that perhaps they're not used to hearing. All right, thank you so much. Do like, subscribe, and comment, and do also find me on my social media channels. So until next time, bye.